Hi guys, this is Kitten Zombie and I am here making arroz con gandules, which is a Spanish rice. So right here I have some salted pork, which I chopped up. Going right into there. Hands are clean. We are going to render this down, which is, we're going to cook the fat, some of the fat out of here, okay? Hear that sizzle? That sounds so good. So this is salt pork, salted obviously. I chopped it up. And this is part of the foundation of the arroz con gandules. Let that cook for a second. Here I have sofrito, which is homemade, which has red peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, onions, garlic, sazon, adobo, recao, ajicitos dulces, cilantrillo. It's all natural herbs that's in here, homemade. Here I have olives. Here I have sazon Goya, sazon con cilantro. I have some jamon, some seasoned powdered ham, powdered chicken bouillon, garlic powder, onion powder, sazon accent, that's optional, adobo, a must, that is not optional. Black pepper, a little bit of Lowry seasoning salt, salsa de tomate, pasta de tomate, y gandules. And I also have some rice just on the side that's waiting, okay? So we're going to cook this down first. I'm going to move this around periodically so that way the fat doesn't stick to the bottom of your pan, okay? Hot. Because you're rendering the fat out of here, you're going to use less oil when making the rice. So hypothetically, if you were going to use 4 tablespoons of oil, you're going to cut that down because this is already adding oil to it. And you don't want your rice to be greasy, grasoso. Just raise the flame a little bit to get this into a little crispier texture. And this really is just to give the rice the flavor. Really, that's all this is for. You only want enough to give it the flavor. So I am going to start now, wait in a second. I'm going to leave this a little bit longer. Starting to brown up. And also, because it's already salted, you want to always make sure that you taste it before you add any additional salt. It is always easy to add, but you cannot subtract. You can't take out. So if you oversalt it, that's it. It's oversalted. But if you undersalt it, you can always add according to your taste. So that's my method. I don't have any measurements. I go by what abuela tells me in my head that says, mija, eso ya está hecho, está bien sazonado, which means it's already done. It's already seasoned. It tastes good. All right, so that's getting pretty brown. So we're going to start adding, I'm going to lower the flame a little bit. So now, the homemade sofrito. Sorry, guys. You went into the pot. You just took a dip into the pool of sofrito. Yes, you did. You just took a dive into the pool of sofrito. You are Puerto Rican injected now, baby. Salsa de tomate. I'm going to use pretty much this. I'm going to use this whole can. I'm only going to use about that much tomato paste. Like a good tablespoon. Stir that in there. This is your foundation. So I have here sofrito. I started with salt pork chopped up. Sofrito. Tomato paste. Okay. This is the foundation. Smells really good in here. So we have that going. Raise that. I'm going to add this, which is ham flavoring powder. Jamon. It's going to go in there. I'm going to add 1 packet of chicken bouillon powder. You can also use chicken bouillon cubes. I'm only going to use half to start because, again, as I said, you can always add, but you can't take out. I will be using 2 packets of sazon goya. Okay, that's going to help to give the color to the rice as well. Okay, I'm going to add pimienta, black pepper, pimienta negra. All of this is according to your taste until your abuela says, mija, eso está bueno. This is adobo. Mija, ya. Ok, está bien. Ajo, que diga cebolla de polvo. Onion powder. Garlic powder. Polvo de ajo. You can use as much of that as you want. A little bit of olive oil. That's going to be for the rice. Sazon accent. We're going to stir that around. I would normally put onions in here, but someone in my family is allergic to onions. But the sofrito does have onions already liquefied in there, of course. So you'll be okay. I just like to have the bits of onion. That's my preference. Bueno. Bueno. So now we're going to add olives, Spanish olives with a little bit of their juice. I rinsed off 2 cups of rice, putting that in there. 2 cups of rice rinsed off. I am actually using jasmine rice. You can use canilla, any long grain rice that you like. I like jasmine because it's very aromatic. You're going to stir that up. Bring it all together. Almost like folding it in, okay? Just keep folding it in. Just keep folding it. I am going to raise that up to high because that's what we want at this point. We want this high because we're going to bring this up to a rapid boil, okay? So there you have that. I have 2 cups of rice. Normally I would do 2 cups of rice and like 3.5 to no more than 4 cups of water. That's what I would do. But because I have liquid from the, juice from the olives and then from the pork fat, we don't want to overdo that, okay? Because then your rice is going to be mogojao, which is mushy. Now I'm going to add the gandules. Okay, it doesn't have to be this brand. It could be Goya. It could be any brand, so long as it's gandules. I'm going to add 1 can. You can add 2 if you want to, depending on how much gandules you want in there. This, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil because it needs it. I can feel it. Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to taste this and make sure that it's salted properly. That's pretty good. We're going to add a little bit more of this. Okay, why? Because I can, and because I want to. More, as I said before, you can always add, but you can't take out. So I'm adjusting this to my taste buds. I'm going to remove this spoon, spatula actually. Excuse me. I'm going to stir this. Taste this. That's pretty good. I'm actually going to add a little bit more of adobo because that'll help bring it right over the edge. It'll be freaking fabuloso, fabuloso, fabuloso. I'll start putting these things away. Oops. Sorry, guys. You just took a dip into the arroz con gandules. The best place that you can be. Sorry. I like to clean as I go because I am maniática. I don't like a mess. I am the type of person that by the time I am done cooking, the only thing that is going to be left over to do will be the dinner plates, and that's it. Because pots, pans, everything, stove, everything will be wiped down and cleaned. I'm OCD and I can't have a whole lot of stuff going on because it just drives me crazy. Put that away later. With this, we're going to bring this to a rapid boil. And with this, I am going to make, I bought a nice slab of pork belly, and I'm going to make chicharrón, which is chicharrón, pork crackling. You want to scrape the bottom of the pot because the rice starts sticking down there, so you don't want that to burn on you. So you do want to move this around, stir it periodically, okay? Hola. That looks so pretty. Qué lindo. This has a beautiful color. This is a very savory rice. I put my foot in this baby. As Emerald Lagasse. Hi guys, it's me Kitten, and this is the arroz con gandules about 25 minutes later. Okay, so you see this, it's nice and fluffy, and you're going to stir from the bottom up. Okay, so you're going to bring the bottom up. There you go, just like that. Perdón, excuse me. So that's done. Eso ya está hecho. Arroz con gandules. Vamos a probar un chin chin. Let's taste a little chin chin. Está bueno. Very good. If I say so myself. Not if I say so, because I know so. So, that's it right there, okay? That's the arroz con gandules. That is done. So we're going to take that and put it to the side, okay? Now in the back burner here, I already had some oil preheating. So let me turn that burner off actually, so I don't burn myself, okay? Okay. This is another caldero that I have. This is a smaller one. I'm going to bring that up to a high heat. This is something that I don't eat on a regular basis. It's called a treat because, in all honesty, you just can't. You can't eat it on a regular basis. But as far as a treat every now and then, yeah, the hell, go for it. You only live once. And every now and then you have to bring those old traditions back. This is the pork belly that I bought. You'll see the video earlier and some of the, go to my community post and you'll see the pictures that I posted on there. Anyway, I took this pork belly and I soaked it in water with vinegar and kosher salt. And I soaked that for about an hour to clean it, number one. Also, because the vinegar will help to break down the fibers in the meat, and it'll help to make the meat a lot more tender, okay? And since this is pork, we want to break it down as much as we can. But it's also going to be chicharrón. So this back here, this fat that you see back here, see that? That fat part right there? Let's see. See? It's the fatty part. And then this right here is the meaty part. So that's a pork belly. Like I said, this is not something you eat every day. This is a treat. I grew up eating it on a regular basis because it was cheap, you know. So, but of course, we can't continue to do that as we get older. You know, everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. But this is the season now where it's cold. I want comfort food. And I just want the house to smell like home, you know? I wanted to smell like when I was una nena and, you know, there was salsa playing in the background and merengue, bachata, and everything. And it was just, it was homey. So I don't have a meat. I don't have a, not a meat. I don't have a thermometer or thermometer. I do this, okay? That's the way that I was raised. That's how I do things, So I'm not sticking my finger in there, obviously. Okay, don't get it twisted. Pero, anyway. Easy to do that. You can drop a little bit of oil on there. See that? That's piping hot. So that's ready. So now, we're going to fry this. I let this meat sit out for about a good half an hour. So you want the meat to become room temperature because it's going to cool the oil down. As you drop each piece of meat into the oil is going to cool down. So that if you started out with 365, 400, that's going to cool down by like 10 degrees or so. If the meat is cold. If it's room temperature, it won't go down as quickly. And even now, you see how the temperature has slowed down some? So I'm going to put each piece in slowly. And we're going to fry that. Don't overfill the pot. Because remember, each piece that you continue to drop in there is going to drop the temperature and the oil. And you don't want your pieces to be oily. There's already fat here. So what we're trying to do is we're going to cook this until it turns to chicharrón, which is going to be nice and crunchy and crackly and savory. Not spicy, but savory. Damn it. I'm going to let y'all know right now, this oil is going to be popping all over the place and I can't stand it. This is the reason, one of the reasons why I don't do this regularly. I don't do a lot of fried foods, and I don't like all the chispas that it does out there. So those are all the pieces that I'm going to put in there for now. So let's just be patient and let that cook. It's going to take a few minutes. It's not going to cook quickly. Because you want, again, you're trying to achieve chicharrón, which is cracking. You want it to be, you want the texture to be nice and crunchy. So therefore, you're going to need to hover over it, stay over it, and stay away from the chispas. And again, I soaked this pork belly. It was whole. I chopped it. Chop it to the pieces according that you want. You don't want them too small and you don't want them too big, okay? I took them, I rinsed them off. Then I soaked them in vinegar, water, and kosher salt for like minimum at least a half an hour. No more than an hour, okay? It's going to clean it. And then also it's going to help break down the texture in the meat to tenderize it so that the pork is nice and tender. But it's not going to affect the, the fatty part, the chicharrón. And also it's going to give it a little tangy flavor to it too, you know? All of this you're going to season according to your taste. It's all about how you like it. Okay? Move it around a little bit. Oh wow, look. Hey, let me show you. Let me show you. See that? See that? Listen, look. You see how that's bubbling? The skin is bubbling right there? That is what you want. And it's turning nice golden brown. But you have to monitor it because it can easily overcook and then you wind up with that skin being mushy instead of crunchy. So that's why you have to hover over it. I am actually going to, because the skin, that's the meaty part right there. I'm going to lower the heat a little bit because I have it on high. So I'm going to go from high to semi-high. Let me see. That's what I was all the way high, and that's what I'm going to right now. Because the oil is really hot. So it's going to be okay. Sorry, guys. Move it around. The spatula, the tips are Teflon, which is really awesome for frying. I've had these for at least, I know I'm telling on myself, but I've had these tongues, I kid you not, for 20 years. Listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, okay? And these things have catered and done a whole lot of cooking. A whole lot of cooking. Look at that. Coming along good. Yeah, definitely needed to lower the heat on that because we don't want the meat to wind up overcooking and then the crackling part will still be mushy. See? We don't want that to overcook. But this has a nice little crust on there. It's bubbling nicely. So let me leave it alone for a second. Like I said, you definitely want to stay here, hover over it, watch it. Be like helicopter mom. Pretend that's your babies floating in the pool, okay? And you need to watch them and make sure they don't drown. This is a bowl with some paper towels at the bottom to catch the excess oil. Or you can use brown paper bags as we did back in the day. Take a brown paper bag, split it down the middle, you know, cut it to size, drop it in there, and it soaks up the oil, which is actually better than the paper towel, to be honest. I need a fork. You hear that? That's hard. That's the crackling. So those pieces are just about done. Now, I season these with all of my Spanish seasonings, of course. You season it the way you want to. Whatever flavor you want, that's what you can do. Keep flipping over, keep flipping over. Keep them moving. And this you can have with French fries, the arroz con gandules as I just made. You can have it with cassava French fries, which is French fries made of cassava, obviously. Even a baked potato, mofongo, as we would traditionally have it, which is a bunch of black plantains mashed up with a lot of seasonings and pork rinds and everything. And we have this, the chicharrón with it. You can have chicharrón with tostones, which is fried plantains, double fried. Okay. Or you can just have them with a salad. Nice little cucumber salad with aguacate, avocado, and some red onion, and a balsamic vinaigrette to help cut through the fattiness. Because the acidity in the balsamic vinegar will help cut through the fattiness of the chicharrón, which it'll be a good balance. I believe you can also have this if you want wine. You can have some red wine with it, and that helps cut through the fattiness of the chicharrón. It'll be a good, nice little combination. Or you can have some spumante if you want to. It's up to you. It's whatever your taste buds want. Or you can have a malta, okay? You know, go all Rican and do a malta, or have a colita, which is a soda champagne. You know, you can go simple like that. Simple, but you know, very good. If you want to be fancy, you can add the wine on the side, okay? So right here, I'm going to take this piece out because that's pretty well done. Let me show you. It's good. It's a smaller piece, so it's going to take as long to cook. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Yes, she is. Yeah, baby. I am the bomb diggity dog. Ha ha. Pretty. All right. Let's take that out. Yeah, that's, oops. Oop, that popped on me. Alright, that's cooked pretty good. Now let's drop these. Step back a little bit because it's going to pop. You do want a big pot when you're doing this, because if you do it in a small pot, this oil can easily overflow, and you don't want that. Trust me, you don't. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a mess. Dangerous at that, because it can cause a fire. I am going to put the rest of the seasoning and oil in here. Okay. That is going to further season, of course, the oil. And also lower the temperature. So you want to raise that up a little bit at this point. Which actually is already at a good temperature as it is. So we're going to let that fry up. Again, I'm going to let you know, this is not something you want to eat every single day. You say this for comfort day, the holidays now that Thanksgiving and Navidad is coming up, you know, the Christmas, definitely. You want chicharrón on that table con arroz con gandulees and whatever else it is that, for me anyway, my tradition. That's what I want there. So, let's see. Look what we have here. These babies. Okay. That's hot. Oof. Look at that. Oof, that's hot. It's hot. Ooh, that's hot. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Ooh. Tell me that's not an foodgasmic moment. Yeah. Taste it. Taste it. Ah. Taste it. Chicharrón. It's nice and crunchy. And this is nice and juicy in the center. Okay? 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 This is going to be part 2, guys, okay? So I'm going to post part 1. This is going to be part 2, and then I'm going to post part 3 for the plating, okay? So that you can see how I plate it up. Again, let's move them around. These tongues are the Teflon tips, you know, with the rubber Teflon, so they don't melt. So you want to make sure that if you're going to use tongues like this for cooking, that it specifies that it's heat resistant and it's not going to melt. Because the last thing you want, trust me, I made the mistake many years ago. I had a pair of tongues, and when I stuck them in there, they freaking melted. It freaking melted, literally it melted. Because you're cooking at high temperature. I'm going to move you around a little bit. Just for a moment, okay? right, this here, guys, I didn't show you this, but this here is a chicken breast stuffed with prosciutto, mozzarella. Yes, and it's excessive right now. It's a treat. It's not for me though, it's for my uncle. And I wrapped the chicken with bacon, okay? So the chicken breast, I split it in the middle. I seasoned it with my, whatever seasonings you want. I used all of my Spanish seasonings, okay? And I stuffed it with prosciutto, mozzarella, and then I wrapped it with bacon, as you can see, okay? And I baked it, okay? The strings that you see there is the twine that I used to wrap it around the breast to close it, to make sure that the what I stuffed it with wouldn't seep out of it. But we're gonna cut that off. That's not, of course, we're not gonna eat that. I'll be cutting that off, okay? So that's what that is. I'm gonna lower this heat because I feel that that's cooking a little too fast. Abuela say, mija, baja el fuego, nena. Yeah, I needed to lower that temperature. The meat is cooking faster than the pork grind. So, I got a little distracted when I was taking that stuffed chicken out of the oven. But we caught that on time. Breast came out really good. Yeah, that came out good. It's juicy. Tasty. Sabe bueno. All right, guys, I'm going to finish cooking this and come back for part 3 when I finish frying this up, and then I'm going to plate it all up for you, okay? All right, guys, see you later. Remember, subscribe, share, and like. Gracias, lo aprecio mucho. Kitten Zombie, ciao.